The man who fished for Snakehead with a reel in the Big Lakeith morning mist clung to the surface of the lake like a ghost, unwilling to leave. The water was still, undisturbed, except for the occasional ripple from a lurking predator below. Old man Elias stood at the edge of the wooden dock, his boots damp from the dew-soaked planks, his hands calloused from years of handling fishing line. He adjusted the brim of his tattered hat and spat into the water, watching the saliva dissolve into the dark depths. Today was the day he would catch the monster. The lake had always been home to fish bass, catfish, even the occasional sturgeon, but in recent years, a new predator had emerged. The snakehead, a vicious, invasive species with razor-sharp teeth and a hunger that never seemed to end. They had wiped out half the native fish population, and the locals had taken to hunting them with spears, nets, even bows. But Elias? He preferred the old ways. A rod, a reel, and patience. He cast his line with a practiced flick of his wrist, the lure landing with a soft plop near a cluster of lily pads. He had rigged it specially a flashy spinner with a touch of red, something to mimic an injured baitfish. Snakeheads were aggressive, territorial. They didn't just eat, they attacked. Elias settled onto his folding stool, the metal legs creaking under his weight. He lit a cigarette and exhaled slowly, watching the smoke curl into the cool morning air. The lake was quiet, but he knew better than to trust silence. Beneath that glassy surface, things were moving, hunting, waiting, then a tug. Not the hesitant nibble of a bass or the slow pull of a catfish. This was sharp, violent. The rod bent nearly in half as the line screamed off the reel. Elias grinned, his yellowed teeth flashing as he braced himself. Gotcha, he muttered. The fight was brutal. The snakehead didn't just swim, it thrashed, rolled, dove deep, and then surged upward, trying to shake the hook. Elias adjusted the drag, letting the fish tire itself out. His arms burned, but he held firm. This wasn't his first battle. After what felt like an eternity, the beast surfaced. Its mottled green-black body twisted in the water, its gills flaring as it gasped. The teeth were the worst part, needle-like, designed for tearing flesh. Elias reached for his net, but the snakehead made one last desperate lunge, snapping its jaws inches from his fingers. He laughed. Feisty bastard, ain't ya? With a final heave, he hauled it onto the dock. The fish writhed, its muscular body slapping against the wood. Elias knelt, pinning it down with one hand, while he reached for his pliers. The hook was buried deep, but he worked it free, careful not to lose a finger in the process. He held the snakehead up, studying it. Nearly 3 feet long, its scales gleaming under the rising sun, a true monster of the lake. Elias tossed it into his cooler, where it joined to others from earlier that morning. The state paid a bounty for these things, $5 a head. Not much, but enough to keep him in fishing line and whiskey. He cast again, the reel humming as the lure sailed out over the water. Somewhere beneath the surface, another snakehead waited, and Elias would be there to meet it. By noon, the cooler was full. The mist had burned away, leaving the lake shimmering under the sun. Elias packed up his gear, his back aching, but his spirits high. Another good haul. Another day of keeping the monsters at bay. As he walked back to his truck, he glanced once more at the water. The lake was calm again, but he knew better. The snakeheads were still out there, and so was he.